couple of weeks ago, I saw this video and it inspired me because I was a very big fan of the Back to the Future films a long time ago. And now, 2014, we're coming close to 2015, the year of the Sky Car and the year of the hoverboard. The hoverboards are arriving. So, here's a good scientific explanation. Every scientist hypothesized, experimented, concluded, and discovered the relationship between electromagnetism and anti-gravity, where, years later, MIT students came down to a simple conclusion: HUVrTech. And Rob on ETN, I think you're going to like some of the things I had to say. Okay, so don't go anywhere. In the 1950s, Edward Lee Skelton was most popularly known as the man who resurrected the Coral Castle in Homestead, Florida, and that he built it for a girl that ended up in love with him. And the long story about Edward Lee Skelton is that he studied and conducted his time with anti-gravity science. He, after all, was a scientist with a very good physics degree under his belt. Most conspiracy theorists always thought of his Coral Castle as another dimension of space and a different realm of constellations with mysticism to it. Thomas Townsend Brown in the 1950s was the cousin of Lady Brown. If you all remember that eerie picture of the bright white spirit coming down the stairs in a black and white image of the post-Victorian era of property art design in the United States. It was the ghost of Lady Brown. The story has been fabricated in millennia of that image, and the actual death has never been known. Although Thomas Townsend Brown, one of my favorites, has improved electromagnetism in experimentation of a simple battery, a magnet, electric wire, aluminum, electric output, and switch to allow direct current and alternate current, fusing a spark in the triangular aluminum kite that he made with those, causing deionization and deflecting the Earth's gravitational pull. In other words, it floated and became the first successful anti-gravity experiment. This inspired more scientists later on in the 1960s and 1970s to improve or revolutionize computer technology with it. In conclusion, there weren't any affordable technological advances during that time that could have been obtained. In 1980, 5 years before the Back to the Future films, Paul S. Mahler in Davis, California, figured a way out in the field of anti-gravity, but figured a way alone to improve VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing technology, in a smaller and more robust, reliable use for the public to use as their own trans-telecommunication. He found his company as the Mahler Sky Car Industry. If you ask what was the whole government conspiracy about UFOs and UFO sightings, Rob, this part goes to you. Area 51 or Area 51's Air Force Base Dreamland. We might not be thinking of technological improvements our government's top scientists are making room for. There is a popular global history of UFO sightings that happen all over the world. From east to west, the popular myths and legends about bismuth was surrounded and shrouded astounded soldiers and militants in the 1600s in what is present-day Roswell, New Mexico, from a UFO crash. What is factual is that bismuth was found to be lighter than lead and has had an effect on the Earth's gravitational pull. It is also a scientific fact, bismuth did not drop down on Earth from space. It was found during the first discovery of caves in eastern Eurasia, or parts of Europe. We as human beings take upon these mysterious UFO sightings can go very far as to conspire, Rob, this is kind of interesting for you, as to conspire a theoretical point of view on our government with our thinking caps to create and base them solely on unobtainable sources. In the minds of the scientifically educated, we take upon these mysterious UFO sightings as a way to inspire, differentiated from conspiring, us, a way to inspire us to improve technology and revolutionizing it by either design and researching ways to make levitation and anti-gravity possible. History shows that there were more scientists that discovered, inspired, found, innovated, and persevered on a multitude of levels that helped us understand our beginnings with scientific understanding. Even though this isn't about Darwin or taking a side with Darwinians, it shows that the human brain function is able to contemplate through these evolving steps on the basis of scientific inspiration. Moreover, than conspiring theoretical, unobtainable reflections. Not only is this defending the scientific outreach of anti-gravity experiments, it's common sense when, to the best of educated knowledge, portrays and paints the bigger picture. These amazing innovators of the world of anti-gravity or VTOL technology have a greater influence, such as Paul S. Muller, the Muller Skycar industry, or the once known Allied Aerotechnics Incorporated Donnie Allen. In 2001, there was supposed to be flight tests in Durban, Africa, on the innovation of the air bike. It was poor scheduling, and Durban kept that slot open for the flight tests of the Muller Skycar instead. It wasn't feasible and did not operate on June 11th of that year. Yet alone, Matthew Newman, the writer, during that time, persisted and delved deeper into the scientific research of anti-gravity technology for a science project for his chemistry class in Olympic Heights at that time. Little did he know that he was in competition during 2001. MIT student Yet-Ming Chang developed the lithium-ion batteries for the 2010 technical prototype of the HUVrBoard. March 2014, a new company by MIT students found HUVrTech. In the video of how, they introduced the actor Billy Zane, who was in the first two films of the Back to the Future as one of Biff's friends that cameos as a bully. As most of you probably remember. Hover employee explains how, hence the title of the HUVrTech video, 30 years later from the Back to the Future films, the HUVrBoard is finally revolutionized after so many technical procedures being done to make this product happen. At the bottom of the renovation of the HUVrBoard, there are two circular pads that have a mag force charger. A mag force charger is a magnitude force field charger. Most of what people have seen in the past of a magnitude force field charger is in the form of an actual cube. That is also used for medical purposes as well. The process to make it very small in the size of an iPad mini's motherboard is a very tough procedure, where HUVrTech revolutionized it so well and made the technology for it to be of the smallest capacity. It must have taken a lot of work to do that. So, give them credit. I give them credit. They would have to make it more computer-like, where it is more of an electronic device with sustainable lithium-ion electromagnets. Or, if it's that center part of the HUVrBoard, is probably requiring a lot of power source going to those pads that probably are the electromagnets. Most magnets and batteries that we now have today do come in any shapes and sizes based on how much voltage it will have to take on a single charge. the MIT, the MIT student mentions that he and his team are trying to make the safest product out there on the market. It is mentioned that it will need 35 minutes before use, hence the charge it will need on a single voltage, as well as being infused with the right ions to create its own electromagnetic field to create flotation, which is the same that Thomas Townsend Brown did on his very first success. The MIT student says the HUVrBoard has more technology in it than the number of satellites we sent in space in 2010. In other words, they dedicated their time to make this HUVrBoard very possible. The following video is called Belief. It mentions in the beginning, in February 2014, HUVrTech hosted an event in downtown Los Angeles. The following demonstrations are completely real. Since it is aforementioned that it is real, why are there so many people making comments saying that it's fake and looking at segments like 227, 118, 125, 120? Also, I think the other numbers were like 220 or 223. Numbers like these seem to be representing something else which has nothing to do with the video, where in fact they are more symbolical in the health management field. So nice try. After analyzing the video, there are no cranes, pulleys, wires, or anything that is up front. The only crane was in the very far background of Los Angeles that is due to construction purposes in the very beginning. The parking lot was used with decent space, wasn't all that big, wasn't all that small, and couldn't even require any large props to help. That is just simple observation. It is mentioned in the video 2 minutes in and 29 seconds thereafter that HUVr's auto-stabilizing technology keeps you on your board under any conditions. That guy was trying to balance his weight where the auto-stabilization does come into play. Auto-stabilization technology is important, and it does come to making this product more feasible and more reluctant to use. Stabilization in itself seems to be the face of a different revolution for athletic purposes. Stability that controls the shift of weight is seen as either paired springs in the gravity defier shoes, there's these, or as paired rods, where there is an automatic detection if the weight of the person is not distributed evenly, and would have a computer sensor to balance the actual board out for the user, hence the word auto in auto stabilization. This is why when sometimes wobbling occurs, we saw this in the video a lot, like in the video with Schoolboy Q, the auto stabilization rods tend to auto-correct an unlimited amount of times until shifting goes either smooth or stationed afloat. The technology for auto-stabilization was not reliable in the 1950s. Auto-stabilization technology did not come about until late 1990, 2001, somewhere around there, when it first started being used in mechanical prosthetics for people who lost a part of their limb in battle, or for others that have been paralyzed from the waist down. These auto-stabilization rods substitute as the main bone inside any part of a prosthetic. Using these within the HUVr technology is very outstanding and a very well laid out plan to use in the manufacturing of the HUVrBoard. This does make the HUVrBoard more feasibility and will start to pique the interest of consumers later on, somewhere near the end of the year. The photo HUVrTech posted on Twitter is of a billboard with the release date for the HUVrBoard reading. I'm sorry, is of a billboard with the release of the date for the HUVrBoard reading. My bad. And it reads 12/13/14. The significance of this date is in numeric order. Overall, anti-gravity technology and VTOL technology come hand in hand. They always require some kind of power source for lift. When it comes to flight, there is always a physical response during liftoff. Wind resistance. The anti-gravity response to lifting someone up on a board like the HUVrBoard is called a jump, a technical term. During the first activation for the jump, the first time users would get the air kicked in them from underneath, causing a mini wind gust in the shoulder of their shirt, if it is a short sleeve. Tank tops, not a problem. Long sleeves, not a problem either. During use of the HUVrBoard, it is several inches high off the ground. Being that high, you do feel a specific percent of a wind current in the troposphere in which we live in, depending on which region, which direction the wind blows, and if you live near where wind currents form frequently. That's why in climate science there's something called the Madden-Julian oscillation circulation, or the Brewer-Dobson circulation, and, well, I can't really think of the rest. I'll explain that to you another time. Since NBC's Saturday Night Live subsidiary Funny or Die did a parody remake of the video requiring cranes and misrepresenting the laws of physics, because when it comes to satire, that shown was scripted, or if it's a sitcom, they ad-lib. They did not credit the video's source from the original representation. Same thing with a non-logo independent HUVrTech, which has no relation to the company, that is found on YouTube. Before copying a video demonstration on any high-tech product, it has been recognized by law to get permission from that company. When you start out with a company name for your YouTube account, logos are important to identify the popularity on how successful the business can be in the world of marketing that product. The HUVrTech user with no logo is a perfect example of stealing not only the name, but also making a copy of the video, editing it to use Adobe Movie Maker by making it look fake with placing props in there. I know this as a fact because as a part of my past, I did learn videography when I was in middle school, on the side, a little homeschool here and there, where sometimes I'd find a lot of research on the internet. I study, that was one of them, and also cinematography. Learned a lot. Anyone can analyze the 3 different videos, like Johnny Depp analyzing book pages in the Ninth Gate, and tell what was put in there by computer. Thanks to Funny or Die, they're able to do that with the scripted comedies they upload on the internet and YouTube. According to the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, Funny or Die and the non-logo independent HUVrTech user have serious charges coming to them soon, especially with the Funny or Die's apology to HUVrTech video. Christopher Lloyd has high numbers of fans from the Back to the Future films a long time ago, where he shouldn't upset the straits of his fans today. Contemplating the question, there's that word again, heavy. Why is everything so heavy in the future? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull? From the first film Back to the Future, as most of you remember, like me. When the question bears today, why am I a snake in the future, wouldn't show appropriate responses from his fans that are still around. That would see that apology video. Being keen, skeptical, optimistic, scientific, and having educated knowledge on the material shown are keys to unlocking the simple question on how advanced technical procedures over decades in VTOL and anti-gravity technology become a new physical part of telecommunications and consumerism. YouTube has given us a new medium. Ever since 2005, for the interactive generations and those that have accounts should play it safe when contributing their own criticism towards the world of innovative technology, ready to be handed over to consumerism in their demonstration videos. I love YouTube, and I know most of you out there do. But if you have any comments or suggestions, please write down below. Okay? And also, if you have any scientific knowledge based on VTOL technology or anti-gravity science, please share with me. I'm always willing to hear what you have to say. Thank you.